You're learning with 9 to 5 English. Business English for the workplace. Hi, Tim here with another 9 to 5 English lesson. In today's lesson, we're going to learn how to talk about your ideas. You might be full of great ideas about your company, your products, or how to connect with your customers. But those ideas aren't very useful if you can't tell other people about them. You probably find yourself in lots of situations where you might talk about your ideas. Think about a staff meeting or a business lunch. Everyone's talking about what the company should do, and you've got a good idea. So do you just shout it out for everyone to hear? No. Rather than just shouting out your idea, it's best to introduce it first. I mean, you should tell everyone that you have an idea you want to share. And you might say exactly that. Like, I've got something to share. Or you could say, here's what I've been thinking. Or, how about this? These are just some of the ways that you can introduce your idea. How about practicing some of these expressions? We're going to present some examples. After you hear each example, try repeating it yourself. Ready? Let's give it a go.
How about this for an idea?
Here's what I've been thinking about.
I've got something I'd like to share on this point.
One way of looking at this would be to
So, we've just practiced some different ways of introducing an idea. Once you've done that, then people are prepared. They are now listening to hear what you have to say. But you need to be a bit careful how you state your idea. If you're not the boss, you'll need to avoid saying, "We have to," or "It is necessary for us to do something." In many situations, that's too strong. If you're just making a suggestion, then you need something softer. One way of suggesting an idea is saying, "We could." That's a polite way to present your idea as one possibility. So, in a marketing meeting, you might say, "We could create some new TV ads." There are other ways of making suggestions using "how about" and "what if." For example, you could say, "How about creating some ads?" Or, "What if we created some ads?" Another really simple way to present your idea is with the words "I think." For example, you might say, "I think we should lower our costs." That's just a bit softer than saying, "We should lower our costs," which is too direct. Many people don't like to hear ideas suggested that directly. Now it's your turn to try using these expressions. You'll hear some examples. After each example, repeat what you hear. Let's begin.
We could hold a big promotional event.
I think there are a few ways we could cut costs.
What if we bought the building instead of renting it?
Why don't we make a mobile version of the website?
As you heard, to suggest an idea, sometimes we ask a question. That shows that we are open to what other people think. After all, you're not giving orders. Rather, you're trying to get people to think your idea is a good one. So, it's important simply to ask them what they think about it. You might ask an entire group of people by saying, "How does everyone feel about that?" Or, "Anyone have any thoughts on this?" You might also ask one person to respond with something like, "What's your view on this, Betty?" One more simple way to ask what people think about an idea is with the question, "How does that sound?" And do you notice, in this and the other expressions I've given you, that we say this or that to refer to the idea? Using these words is better than saying, "my idea," or asking, "Do you agree with me?" Why is saying this better than saying my idea? Well, because you want people to focus on the idea, not on whose idea it is. If you say me and my a lot, people might feel you are thinking about yourself too much. Let's practice using these expressions for asking what people think about your ideas. Remember to repeat each example after you hear it.
How does everyone feel about that?
What's your view on this, Dave?
How does that sound?
Anyone have any thoughts on this?
Okay, you've done some great practice with some useful expressions, but how does this sound in a conversation? Well, let's listen to a short discussion between Sandra and Kelly about a new office design.
Looking at the office layout, does anyone have any ideas?
Yes, I've got something I'd like to share on this.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, what if we put another meeting room on the second floor?
Can you see how that worked? Sandra says she's got something to share about the office layout. Then, once everyone's listening, she makes a suggestion using a what-if question. Now, it's your turn to practice. We'll repeat the dialogue, but this time, we're going to beep out Sandra's words. You will have to say those parts yourself. Remember, first you'll say that you have something to share, and then you'll suggest putting another meeting room on the second floor.
Looking at the office layout, does anyone have any ideas? Sure, go ahead.
All right, so we've learned some great ways to talk about your ideas and to ask what other people think about your ideas. In our next lesson, we'll learn about how to agree with other people's ideas. Until then, so long and happy learning.